anyone want to do anything? Oh, well, I guess we have to wait to do the recording going again.
It started.
Fungi has priority. Oh, you started?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, damn. Oh, okay, Fungi, you had something you want to say?
Yeah, just out of character, does anyone have any plans how we could use these troops?
I have an idea. If you zoom out a little bit. Okay. My idea is we send a force of them. I don't know exactly how much. You know this area right here is another enemy line, right? Because this is the route that the Commissar tried to use earlier to swing around this way. If I remember correctly?
It's actually Captain Holgress attempted to, or no, wait, you're right. That was when the Commissar tried to lead a second offensive. You're right.
Yeah. I would say send a detachment of what we have under our command this way to help thin their lines as much as we can. And then we send the rest of them either to reinforce this engagement here or to go with the side engagement that's going to come around the side.
I think our best bet is, I mean, we can split them up, but it might make sense to keep some of them with us so that we have more firepower.
How are you going to keep them with you when your transport only has enough room for 12 people?
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I was thinking we were storming the tower as opposed to flying to the top of the tower.
Yeah.
That was my bad.
Speaking of which, Kiri did try to state something that I don't think anybody really noticed because, you know, the fact that she revealed something about her own character more than so. But I do believe Kieran tried to mention that Grace Steyer requested permission to be at the front.
Oh, I didn't say that in the actual meeting where everybody would have...
Oh, okay. You only wrote that down on the paper?
Yes.
Are you going to talk about Grace Steyer at all with the other player characters? Okay.
Yes, because I made a promise. Kieran, I almost confused my own character's name because she's had about 100 of them. Kieran will say to you, I think that we need to take Great Field Commander Steyer's squad as one of ours to deploy as we would like. She promised me they're the best, and I think whatever we decide to do with her squad would be the most beneficial to all of us.
She doesn't... I know you like this girl, Taryn. But she doesn't have a really good track record ever since we arrived here of what her actions have been.
What if I witnessed them? What's the word I'm looking for? There's obviously a reason she was given this promotion. And I saw them drilling outside. She can do it. She's a fighter. She didn't want the command position. She can do this.
And yet she was willing to shuck that duty when she tried to commit suicide.
Was that ever revealed, out of character, was that ever revealed publicly? I'm pretty sure none of you found out about that.
I know some of us did, and I thought it was talked about with the other characters.
You guys left before, even the rumors started to circulate.
Wasn't Tyrion the one who found her?
And yeah, I don't think anyone knows about that in character except Tyrion. And Tyrion only has her theory.
And she would not have shared it with you.
Okay, then. I take back everything I've said in the last 5 minutes since I saw it so long time ago and it's been on and off. I forgot whether we were informed of that or not.
Okay. Talia will tap on Tyrion's shoulder and show her Shelby's message.
she didn't want this promotion. She wants to be out there fighting. So why not give her the opportunity to do what she's good at? Because we've clearly seen her lead troops.
She should be doing what she is best at. Instead of leading a single squad, let her lead a single squad. If she's better at managing a force, let her manage a force. This is a fucking army, not a fucking playground.
Thank you. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, everyone give me a quick awareness.
Karen will also say she has something else she wants to say once you're done with it. Awareness, I'm not really good at this. Lies is what that is. Boom!
Okay. So far, Kieran, Shelby, Sam Byrne. Okay, so 3 people managed to get it. During the whole talk about Grace Dyer, Philip Bryce seemed rather fidgety and frustrated and twitchy. As if he wanted to say something but didn't.
Vern will say to the Lieutenant Commander, Lieutenant Commander, do you have previous history with the Captain?
No, not the captain. I'm saying Grace Dyer, the field commander. But you were talking about her. That's when he was fidgety.
Well, Tyrion will say to him, is there something...
Hello?
Yeah?
Oh, sorry, you went robot there for a sec. What did you say?
Sorry, I'm utterly confused now. What were the fucking...
Okay, Tyrion was talking about Sergeant Grace Dyer, who was promoted to field commander. When she was talking about that, Lieutenant Commander Philip Bryce, because they're all still in his office, looked very awkward when that subject of her came up, and he got kind of fidgety, like he had something to say, but he didn't.
Okay. Something you want to say, Lieutenant Commander Bryce?
He just sort of shakes his head. No.
Are you sure? You seemed that you were... There was something you were about to say about the Steyr, Field Commander Steyr.
Now he's getting from Shelby as well. So the two of you, go ahead and roll Intimidate, because that's basically how this is coming off to him.
Oh, shoot. Shoot, Shelby, shoot.
Why did you, Shelby, go to the...
Shelby's just being cute, apparently.
It's not my fault my voice is fucked up, but I don't know. Life. Yeah.
There have been issues with Guild Commander Grace Dyer in her current position, and he shuffles through some of his papers and pulls out one that is release from duty sheet, basically, for her, saying, I was actually planning to demote her back down to sergeant, considering her as field commander has not been working out so well.
Huh. I will look at the others and ask, would this bring a problem to our plans? Would it change it anyway?
Depends on the reasons as to why she's being demoted.
As I said, she's proven she's not fit for that level of leadership. She was promoted because she showed exemplary leadership in squads. However, when put in charge of the entire base's military performance that proved to be, well, not disastrous, but close.
Overwhelming?
She's a soldier, which she just couldn't hack it. And I do not currently have a replacement. That's why I haven't signed this document yet. She don't have someone to put in her place.
Kieran will throw her hands up and go, what more proof do you need that her squad and her should be on the front line?
It wouldn't be a promotion, it would be a demotion, ma'am.
Well, you don't have to officially demote her, just let her out.
No. Explain to Shelby, like Shelby saying promote her to squad leader. That's what she used to be. Now she was promoted, and now it's going to be demoted back to that.
Lieutenant Commander, after my conversation with her last night, I think she would be overjoyed at a demotion.
He will then glare at you as he suddenly puts 2 and 2 together about where you got your intel. He doesn't say anything, but he figured it out. Way to go, Kieran. You're terrible at keeping secrets.
Oh, whatever. I don't care.
Well, except now you've just shot Grace in the foot.
Oops.
I think at that point it's actually a bit worse than just shooting her in the foot.
In the knee.
I used to be a soldier like you until I took a bullet to the knee.
At this point, the lieutenant commander will say, I believe I will just leave Grace Steyer's fate in your hands. You may do with her as you see fit. Yes, certainly. And he'll type into his cogitator, and anyone looking over, well, Shelby's most likely, he'll be pulling up a complete discharge form for Grace, basically kicking her out of the PDF.
Out of character. Nicely done, Sharon.
Let her lead from the front on the offensive. If she dies in service, doing what she wants to do, all the power to her. If she survives, she's proved that she is fit to be a squad leader.
Well, Trios has spoke his mind. Is anyone going to weigh in any other?
I'm saying this mainly to the Lieutenant Commander.
Kieran is choosing to keep her mouth shut.
I don't think Shelby's revealed. I don't think anyone else is looking over the Lieutenant Commander's shoulder. And the last thing the Lieutenant Commander said is that he's putting Grace in your hands. So Krios is saying he wants Grace to lead from the front.
So that's where she wants to be. That's where she feels she will be the biggest asset in our forces, and that's where she shall be.
So be it. Now, is there anything further that I can be of assistance for the lot of you?
I think at this point we just need to prepare for the attack and hope it all goes to plan.
Kieran, we'll ask Haley to say some prayers.
Still need to figure out what to do with the 10th platoon that are all command.
Well, someone suggested that they take the swamp route. I think that was actually you, Bob.
Yeah, I just wanted no one voice their own opinions or whether that they agree with that or disagree with that, or that they have their own ideas what to do with the 10 platoons.
I think putting troops into a swamp on a front we don't need to attack is a little foolish. It would be engaging troops who would otherwise potentially not be engaging. I think we should be holding them back as a reserve. We haven't got a reserve force at this point.
That is true.
That seems like a fair idea.
Where do you want them to remain?
Because if they remain at the outpost, they have no vehicles to quickly get to the front, so they're going to have to hoof it.
No one has any vehicles whatsoever.
Exactly.
All of our troops are on foot. I'm no military commander. I don't know the most efficient way to do this. Maybe you know where to put them. I will happily trust in your statement, whatever.
Considering what we're dealing with right now, I don't understand what those bells mean, but it can be a good thing. I'm thinking that we're probably going to have to go all or nothing on this. It's just my personal opinion on this. We either stop them right now with the force we have, or we're not going to have enough time to stop them a second time.
Did you realize the plan of this whole fucking mission is to obliterate the tower? And it wasn't already clear I've been doing my job incredibly wrong.
The entire point is to make sure we can get the opportunity to obliterate this tower. If we lose this fight, it means we probably won't have the chance because we still have to rescue the VIP.
The VIP, I'll be honest, is a secondary objective here. If we're not out in time, the tower will still be destroyed.
Then best we can do then is put those 10 platoons just southeast of the Lister block hive, as close to the front lines as possible. So in case the position needs to be reinforced, they can get there as soon as possible because they're going to have to hoof it.
Indeed, and let's hope the Medusas don't see them as a nice, tasty target.
Also, remember, the riot was still going on when you guys made it here. So putting troops through the riot, who's to say how that might go?
Well, I'm thinking about, if I was to go this way, I was thinking of just putting like right there.
Still would leave them open, as Funky said, to Medusa fire if a Medusa is watching that area.
Yeah, but the problem, that's the entire point though. We leave them at the base as reinforcement. To get to any place to reinforce, it's going to take them a few hours to do that by foot. The closer the outer front line to reinforce, the better.
I recommend we speak to the captain about this.
To have the, proper distance, not too close but not too far.
And I repeat, there's no way for them to rapidly get to the front lines to help reinforce and help push. They have to be and if they try to hoof it or march it, they may get too tired before they can actually reach the enemy lines on foot.
But there's no point putting them too close to the front line because what's use of the reinforcements if they're blown into 12 pieces? That's why I said we need to get them close enough, but not too close. Not in the
Which is why I suggested maybe talking to the captain. I think this might be something she would know about.
That, though, she said they're yours to do with as you so desire, and gives the impression she doesn't quite like any of you. And then you go to her, so what do you want us to do with these soldiers you gave us?
Well, no, I have a clear plan in mind. It's the fucking distance I'm asking about.
We can ask Bryce.
Oh, you're still in his office. He's gone silent?
Okay, I was waiting for someone else to speak up. So, Lieutenant Commander, exactly how far away are we going to have to place these 10 platoons so the far enough away that they're out of the effective range of the Medusas, but within close enough range to rapidly reinforce any lines that need it. It looks like book's kicking. Anybody else? Hello?
I can hear you.
Oh,
Hello.
Lost VT then.
I'm here. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sad thing is, he's right in the middle, so I can't get to his icon to hang up on him. Let's see that. There we go. Try again.
Hello?
Hello.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
Okay, but Frosty went AFK?
Yeah, he just left real quick.
Okay, so the last thing I heard was maybe we can ask Bryce, to which I said, you are still in his office. And that's about when I think the audio died on my end.
Yeah, I was going to ask, so Lieutenant Commander, do you have any ideas of we haven't scouted the terrain ourselves. Do you know of any areas in there where we can put the 10 platoons to rapidly reinforce any of the attacking forces if they need it, or without putting them under danger or threat of the Medusas, at least for the most part?
Well, he'll pull out one of his maps. You guys can zoom out to take a look. The Medusas that were shelling us were shelling in a range arc like this. So, assumably, putting the troops just outside of that arc would be sufficient. However, since shock troop Lid returned, the barrage on this area has stopped, and we haven't actually seen any Medusa fire since then. There, of course, has still been hydro shots, as demonstrated, but we don't know how many Medusas are still operational or how many hydras are operational. Or, for that matter, if they move their positions.
We didn't just have to risk it and put them there that they need to be there. Because how long would it take them to, I know this is scaled up, so it's about 1750 or 1900. 1750 or 1900 to get to the two closest paths from where we'd be putting them. Exactly how quickly could they get there without having to risk fatigue?
Okay, so 900 meters, you say?
It is 1900 meters to one and 1700.
1900. Okay, 1900.
Yeah, 1900 and 1750 to get to the other one.
Okay. So, regular time, probably about, it can't be right, can it? Half an hour? Right? Do the math right there. Takes, per minute, we can go 72 meters. So 72 meters, 1900, yeah. Take them roughly half an hour to move 1900.
So, well, Krios?
Well, that's unacceptable.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was trying to say. We're going to have to get them a lot closer.
If they double time, 13 minutes.
That's still inaccessible when we need them to push hard and push fast.
I'm not a general. I'm out of my depth here.
I'm just going to have to risk it because I want them at least within 15 minutes without them not being tired.
Well, we can use them as a rear guard, maybe. I don't know if the refugees back in the city are still raving. If they are, we might need a force ready to put them down should they decide that the army is in fact the devil.
I've had an idea of what to do there, but I've not wanted to overstep my bounds against...
You want to herd them as fodder into the enemy.
I wasn't about to suggest that. Yes, they seem to really... They seem... They want to help. And it would solve 2 issues. But I don't want to overstep my bounds of suggesting that, since this is a religious matter and I'm more military focused, I have no right to weigh in on ecclesiarchal matters.
I don't want to risk that demoralizing the troops personally.
Bailey, you're the one who gets to weigh in authority on religious matters.
At this point, I don't know what can be done about that riot.
Do you think if you and can't remember her name right now off the top of my head. Yeah, do you think if you and Ariane can maybe rile them up and get them to focus on the tower?
Oh, now you want them to fight.
I was suggesting that earlier. I didn't want to give my opinion on it because this is more of a religious and ecclesiarchal matter than a military matter, and that oversteps my bounds of authority.
The problem is, they're completely untrained. They're just civilians. We send them in there, they'll basically just be going in to get slaughtered.
Actually, your character would know this. There have been numerous occasions throughout the Imperium where everyday men and women, thrust into a frenzy by the ecclesiarchy, have won wars that the Imperial Guard was unable to stand up to. At least that's what the ecclesiarchy teaches. Whether those legends are true or not is maybe up for debate. But there have been numerous stories of one preacher getting a mass of 1,000 people to lay siege to a force that outnumbered them 10 to 1 and winning out just by sheer force of frenzied devotion to the Emperor. Just saying. Whether or not Haley believes that is up to you.
Well, it could work.
My thinking is that it serves 2 purposes. Not to sound cold-hearted here, but this will serve 2 purposes for us. It will get us a focus for the riot and will take care of the riot and gives us more bodies to put in the field. And 2, whether they fail or succeed, it gives that much more time for our normal soldiers to get that much closer to the enemy before they start taking fire.
Talia at this point will chime in saying, I don't like it. Mainly because she'll look over to the lieutenant commander and say, my apologies for what I'm about to say. You should hear this, but all of us know what that symbol on that tower means. We send people toward that without gas masks or environmental suits. We aren't just guaranteeing that they'll be dead. We are risking the lives of thousands, millions more if they survive. We all saw Lynn's condition right?
Mhm.
Now imagine if 1,000 people wandered away from that event and weren't put into a quarantine tent.
That would be a problem. Also, we probably shouldn't send out more, or we shouldn't probably send dead bodies to these guys because
Yeah,
these
that's
guys
also
love
good.
them.
Well,
We
aren't
want to
we-
minimize casualties here.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't we blowing the tower to smithereens? And this is in character. Tyrion wouldn't quite understand the whole tactic thing.
We are blowing the tower to smithereens. But, okay, again, apologies to you, Lieutenant Commander. You may want to put your hands over your ears. And Lieutenant Commander looks shocked, and he'll do exactly as he's told. And Talia will lower her voice, saying, disease, Tyrion. People are going to be infected if they go up there and aren't properly prepared. Because people who are riding are already weak and weary, don't have enough food, don't have enough medicine. They are more at risk to becoming carriers to that rot that, well, we all saw Lynn. She was wearing full armor. There were holes in it, yes, so we got to make sure we don't get any holes in ours. And I just pray that the soldiers that were being sent have been properly equipped. And at that point, she kind of stares at the floor as she thinks about the chances.
Right. I guess I'll just keep my mouth shut because I clearly don't know what I'm talking about.
You raised some valid points, Talia. It was just an idea I had.
Talia will then suggest maybe we could use these soldiers to get civilians out of the line of fire.
Well, that was my potential plans to use them as a rear guard to stop any civilians getting into the combat zone or interfering with the combat zone.
Plus, they might be the best way to actually disperse the riots.
Exactly my thinking. Talia says. Izzy is not being helpful. Somebody's breathing
Well,
heavily, which is kind of creepy.
Does anyone have any other plans to using these extra troops as a rear guard? Actually, hang on a second. Let me think of the numbers here. How many platoons do we have control of?
10. 5 Imperial Guard, 5 PDF.
And how many
Bryce will mention we still have over 1,000 PDF stationed here for the purposes of general maintenance and performance of our already existing duties of putting corpses into the ground. The civilians have not attempted to attack this base at any point. They've harassed our people out at the mass graves, but never have come to the base, because we always had at least 250 soldiers on duty doing guard patrols.
So maybe if we use these troops as a rear guard between our forces and them, they won't intervene. The last thing we want is all of these crazed fanatics running through our lines and into the enemy. I'm not worried about them attacking the base.
Talia will nod and say, yeah, let's deploy at least some of those troops to try and, get the rioters under control and push them north, west towards the water so that they are out of line of fire and away from our base.
That sounds good.
I would suggest then we at least take off, at least. Either the ones focusing on the rear guard, I would suggest would be the PDF, and I would prefer it if we had the 5 platoons of Imperial Guard act as reinforcements.
I think with the time it would take them to actually reinforce a point, their reinforcements would be redundant. I mean, imagine a situation, you're under fire, you call for reinforcements, and the guy says, oh, yeah, we'll be there in 15 minutes.
This is Imperium. It can sometimes take longer.
Indeed.
Yes, but still, we need to make sure that these forces get through. And if they got slowed, they're going to need more manpower to help push through. Because we need them up on those ridges, taking out those Hydras as quickly as possible.
Well, I've given my input. If you think your plan is better, let's go with your plan then. I am sick of arguing about it.
We'll put it to a group vote then?
Sure, that's what I said.
So options are rear guard, deploy for reinforcements, or disperse riots.
Probably both rear guard and disperse riot. Because it shouldn't take too many to disperse the rioters.
I seriously don't understand why dispersing the rioters is even an issue right now. We should just stop them from interacting. I mean, it's like worrying about attacking a cult. You know, we can deal with them later.
I would say we would left some of the people as a rear guard, but have some of them as a reinforcements.
That was my suggestion at the end. We just split the forces we can have in command in half. PDF focusing as the rear guard, the 5 Imperial Guard platoons act as reinforcements if they need to.
I thought that might happen, Jess.
I thought we said no more arguing. We would put it to a vote.
I'm just explaining my side. That wasn't arguing. But it looks like...
Well, we continued to discuss after apparently the discussion was done. That was all I was saying.
It's all down to Vern, but it looks like all the forces acting as a rear guard seems to be the winner.
Vern, what's your vote?
Well, I already voiced my opinion about splitting troops for rear guard and reinforcements. Since dispersing the rioters is not
so you're saying 1 and 2.
Yeah. Since
Okay, so
like Fungi said, dispersing the rioters is not our greatest issue right now. The rear guard can keep them in line if have to, but we also need the reinforcements to be there if we want to get that bridge, really. Because if we lose most of the troops when they attack, we need to, supply more troops because we really need those Hydras out. Because we'll be fucked if we fly over them and they shoot at us. Vern doesn't like to drop from a plane. He could probably survive it, but he doesn't like it.
He's probably the only one who would survive it.
I was lucky to save 2 people last time we got shot out of the air. I'm not going to have enough to save all of us.
Kieran, did you vote?
Did I what? I don't have an opinion one way or the other. I'm leaving it to people who are much more versed in this than I am.
Okay, well, I think that's what the tallies are, if I calculated correctly. So, okay, that we established that you guys want to use rear guard predominantly. There were some dissenting voices that said disperse the riot, but I'm going to say they get overruled, even though Shelby can sometimes be awkwardly persuasive. And yeah, the troops will all just be sitting around at the PDF outpost.
That's not what the rear guard is.
Isn't it?
No. What is this? The rear guard.
You said you want them to protect your rear flank, right?
Which would be in between us and the refugees, stopping them from entering the combat zone and making sure nothing. Yes, there.
Okay. Shit. Okay. I thought
the outpost is fucking stupid.
That's what I thought you were saying this whole time when you were saying rear guard.
No, guarding our rear, not sitting at home playing cards and eating fucking toast.
Okay. Okay. Sorry for the miscommunication on my part there. I think everything therefore is established. Is there anything else anybody wants to do to prepare other than Haley's prayer?
Just unless Krios wants to go over the recorded speech I have pre-made. I just want to play that like an hour or half an hour before we actually start deploying.
I think Krios is a bit too flustered to care about that right now.
Okay.
Ron will go through his items because it's a lot of shit.
So stuff will start arriving by boat.
Okay. They didn't come in with us.
What? It's not what now?
Going to just when Lynn comes through, she's gonna start getting herself ready for combat.
Not quite. All right. Well, if you want to try fading, remember her intelligence score only increases by 1 per hour. So she's sitting roughly at the 20 mark right now. Oh, God. Well, we're going to have a liability. A soldier with you guys.
Okay, so start. Okay, so we have 2 speeches. I'm gonna have 1 speech. Remember?
Sorry, hold on. Lynn doesn't want to come in the Valkyrie. Well, there's the question. Is anybody actually going to try to put up a fight with Lynn, or are you just going to let her board the Valkyrie?
There is no way Krios let even exit, let alone... no. She is not doing it.
Making the assumption that M wouldn't try to stop her in the med bay before she got out.
Yes, M may try to stop her, but remember, Lynn is dangerous, and somebody decided to bring her weapons to her in the med bay.
They were
I only gave her a knife. And wait, if she's armoring up, doesn't she have to talk to me before she gets her armor? I'm pretty sure most of it was left with me. And after I knocked her out, I'm pretty sure I would have made sure I had all of it. Because
that's a good point. Yeah, Jess, the sedative, even with that toughness reroll, you wouldn't wake up in time for the deployment because of the nature of the sedative. At least she's recovering.
One thing I forgot to tell the captain is that we have 1 extra Neiman Russ, which she is able to assign where she wishes.
going to hunt her down to let her know that?
If I don't have a comm frequency, then yes.
So when you hunt her down, then she won't be hard to find. Will you give her, will you exchange phone numbers?
I'll say it would be handy if we had each other's comm frequencies so we can stay in contact during the fight.
And she'll, in her disdain type of voice, say, I will be communicating through this center here. Just contact this location and I'll be easily in touch. She's not leading from the front like Mulgris did.
Oh. That was going to be one of my next questions. Right.
The original Imperial Guard captain that came, the one that's apparently gone traitor, led his forces with him at the front. Those Imperial Guard who made it back said he was the first to betray, and then half the forces joined him, the other half got slaughtered and tried to escape.
And is that why she's not leading from the front?
She's a captain of the Imperial Guard. She's meant to organize and orchestrate battles. This command center is amply equipped for that. She wants to make sure everyone is where they should be, rather than wandering blindly through the mud.
No, if that's where she's the most efficient, then sure, have her stay there. I'm just telling her she's got one extra bloody tank to use.
Oh, yes, another tank would be most appreciated. Thank you, Tech Priest. You like how I said that, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
When Bob gets back, we can ask him if Alexander is going to try and take over for the Navy pilot. And
I would heavily advise against it.
Why that?
Well, why would we? We have a dedicated pilot who can stay in the Valkyrie, maybe fly around while we're doing our mission. If we pilot it, you have to sit it on the fucking helipad and then go in and do our mission. Anyone could walk out and go, oh, I wonder what this button does. Oh, I'll have this. I'll leave this melter bomb in here. I'll just summon a greater demon. I'll shit in the glove box. You know.
Fantastic, Bungie. All right, and yes?
Just a quick question. How long are we going to continue this tonight?
We'll be wrapping up shortly. I just want to hear from Bob about something, and also all of you about Grace Steyer. Oh, he's back. Okay. So just before that, Bob, I was going to ask you about piloting the Valkyrie. Bungie raised some very excellent points, though, that having a dedicated pilot would probably be preferable for a number of reasons. But is Alexander going to be stubborn and try and be a hotshot pilot, or is she going to allow the existing Navy pilot to do her job?
She would prefer to be the main pilot, but considering that this mission is gravely too important and she knows she's been off her game the last few days, she was going to offer up her service as a co-pilot if a Valkyrie has a co-pilot.
They have a navigation seat, as I understand it. There's an actual pilot seat and then a navigation seat, two potential gunner seats, and some patterns. Don't just say yours has maximum capacity transport.
Okay, yeah,
Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, yeah, she's going to offer herself as in one of the supporting seats, not as the main dedicated pilot.
Okay. And then the other question, Grace Steyer, where do you guys want her to go? She wants to go with you guys.
Well, we could use the cannon fodder. I mean...
If we need someone to say, if we need to make a hasty retreat, but we need somebody to stay behind to buy us time, I think a squad of PDF soldiers would be a bit better than just 2 of us.
I don't think we could fit a whole squad on the Valkyrie with us.
Well, how many?
Hold on. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of you boarding the Valkyrie. That means you've got 5 seats available.
Just at least one of them goes to a pilot.
No, I'm saying strictly passengers, 12 passengers.
Kira,
Pilot, navigator, and 12 passengers.
Well, that would be... Yeah, pilot, navigator, and 12 passengers. That means it would be 6 passengers left over since I'll be in the navigator seat.
That's also true. Or can fit uncomfortably.
Then why don't we take Grace's squad? Kieran will suggest this completely in character. She 110% wants Grace with them.
Because then who do we have leading from the front? Which officers, which we can trust, do we have on the field?
We don't.
Exactly. Our mission is a submission. Taking down the tower is of greater importance than rescuing Vidar, in my opinion.
Bear in mind that the captain has already created a number of team leaders for all her pursuits.
I was about to say
Yeah,
that.
we've got the Imperial Guard officers. I don't know that we can trust Grace in the field or leading soldiers anyway, other than a squad. Even though it's her title.
Sure, sure.
She's not. She's only going to be. She's going to be just slightly above the bottom rank if she goes out into the main field. She's not going to be in any commander's big soldiers.
She's already been demoted technically.
Yeah.
Hired.
Basically, yeah, discharged. So I was actually about to say that. And she's been discharged, so we're pretty much responsible for whatever she does at this point.
Okay.
So if Grace wants to bring herself and 5 volunteers to fill out the most seats possible in the Valkyrie, then yes.
I would suggest we take a few of the Imperial Guard troops that we were stationing for the rear guard with us along with her. They're the most experienced, at least.
I would suggest that because I just got the idea that we need somebody to hold the landing zone. So we don't get...
That is actually true.
Well, we go in to get Vidal. We need somebody to hold the LZ. Oh, as soon as we get Vidal, we have no escape route.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. So we will have Grace and her squad hold our landing zone while we complete our mission.
That sounds good to me.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, so it's the dedicated pilot, me in the navigator seat, you guys filling up the rest, and Grace plus 5 squad members for Grace. And that's all
the landing zone.
And to keep the landing zone, and that holds up all the spots in the Valkyries unless we want to try to sardine this Valkyrie.
Now, here's the question.
No.
Do we want to land the Valkyrie or have it just stay in the air while it waits for us? If it lands, we might be able to hold the point better with its bolters.
I think we'd be better off having it circle, honestly.
Whether we have enough fuel for that, will the Hydras be destroyed so it won't be shut down while we're there? Those are the questions.
Well, shouldn't we gather some more information on that?
It's going to be exactly what the situation is once we get to the part where if we can even see if we can land, whether the Valkyrie stays or not.
All right.
Well, then we're just going to pray that it has enough gas. If it can't land.
If it can't land, we're probably going to have to rappel down the Valkyrie.
Okay, here's another thought. If it can't, is it really going to turn off its engines? I mean, doesn't it take time to turn back on? So either way, it's going to use fuel. Yes, no, correct me if I'm wrong.
It's not going to use as much fuel if it's idling.
This is something we will come to once we get there. If it looks like it's empty and we can trust it to stay on the platform, we'll do just that. If it looks too hot, it will circle around, if possible, while we go inside and do the mission.
And we is this a Valkyrie? Okay, I'm trying to remember exactly. Valkyries have three ways. They can land and drop off units, they can rappel down, or if it's equipped enough, if it's equipped, it has grav chutes, right?
We haven't got the training for grav chutes. I am highly against us using those.
So two choices are: if it's hot, we're going to have to rappel down as quickly as you can. If it's not hot, we can safely land, take off, and leave it.
Prios, Shelby, Talia, and Alexandra are most safe dropping out of the ship, mainly because Shelby will catch Talia. Tyrion is acrobatic enough. Vern is tough enough. So it's really just Haley who's at the most risk of jumping out of a Valkyrie.
I miss my back grapple. I never got a chance to use it.
No, you did. Didn't you try to save Torcus with it?
Oh, yeah. I never got to use it for its intended purpose.
That's not what you said.
So he modified that. Now, if you're going to be bringing Grace, these 8 tokens over here are her squad mates. Now, obviously, you can't fit them all in the Valkyrie unless you want to cram them right in there and risk some potential problems. But, so you want the Demolitionist, Jess?
Okay, let's see. Who do we have? We have a gunner, demo, scout, flamer, gunner, sergeant, medic. We're not going to be blowing up the landing zone, so I'd say we don't take... I'm highly suggesting we don't take Tanko.
No, we probably should, because if the zone gets really hot, she can either like destroy one of the enemy's access routes, or just blow a lot of them up.
Okay, so
That's another reason to bring the flamer too.
You don't have to make these decisions right now. We are getting late. Vern does have to go.
Good point.
But I'll leave these for you guys to decide on during the week. And if people want to come up with some names for these tokens, please be my guest, and we'll make up little backstories for them so that you guys can have, souls to these NPCs that are most likely all going to die.
One of them's got to be named Jenkins.
No, Jenkins wouldn't be one of these guys.
Oh.
These are the best of the PDF.
Oh, that
located here.
Puts my faith into them.
Except for Deadeye, who's still missing. I mean, what? Something that Tyrion forgot to tell the rest of the team.
I was getting there and then I got cut off.
Before we all leave, I'm just going to say the scout is probably the least one we take. Bottom of my list of people we take. Do we really need to take the sergeant if we're having...
Like I said, we don't want to discuss this right now in the recording. Was there anything else in-game people wanted to do before we wrap up, though?
I think I'm good.
Nope.
Alrighty. Well, thank you once again, everyone, for playing. And next session will be the start of war.
War.
Hammer.
What a trivial thing.
War never changes. In any event, thanks again. Have yourselves a good night, and I will be online for a little while longer if anyone wants to chat with me, but recording it.